What's up, guys? This is Sim with Vengeance, and I am back here with another NCAA Football 14 Arkansas State Red Wolves Dynasty. And today, we're going to give you guys the recap of the next 3 to 4 games that I'm going to be presenting to you in this series. I have been listening to your comments about the lag that you guys have been seeing in my videos, and I didn't notice it at first, and I looked back and I'm like, oh crap, so that's a thing. So for the next few games, because of the thing that happened with OBS and all that stuff, like if you don't know what OBS is, it's open broadcast software, and it updated and it reset all my stuff, and it kind of messed up the way I kind of went about things, and I had it perfectly set up, and I'm just like, oh, crap, I got to do it again. So there was something that I just didn't do right, so I'm going to have to fix that before anything else. So I think I fixed it now, but for the time being, this is how we're going to do it. So in this game, we beat TCU by the final score of 24-16. It was a fairly close matchup for most of the game. Fourth quarter is when we really started to separate. You see right here, Clark Douglas. We didn't score a touchdown until the first quarter. We scored 17 in the second quarter. Which would have been enough to beat TCU, but I mean, obviously we'd rather play safe than sorry, so we just, you know, put up extra points at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, we extended our lead to 24-13 with a touchdown pass to Ben McAfee. Clark Douglas had a couple of touchdowns, and Meyer had a field goal. So we had a pretty good day offensively. Team stats, you take a look here. We had 18 first downs, 86 yards of total offense. 441 rushing attempts for 261 yards and 2 touchdowns. 11 of 14 passing for 125 yards. 5 of 8 on third downs, where TCU was 1 for 6. And we won we went for it a few times on fourth down because, you know, we don't have the strongest kicker, but I don't want to punt the ball inside the 30-yard line. It seems kind of silly. Red zone touchdown, or yeah, we converted most of our red zone attempts. We went 66%. We turned the ball over once in the red zone, and that was kind of unfortunate. Fumbles lost. We lost one. We threw an interception as well. We had only 1 punt return yard, 120 kickoff return yards, and 570 yards of total yards. We dominated time of possession, whereas TCU didn't, and they had 1 penalty for 5 yards, and they only had 1 punt. So only 1 punt through both teams for the entire game, so that says a lot. And taking a look at the stats, 11 of 14 for 125, a touchdown and an interception from Thomas Wilson. He had a quarterback rating of 162.8, which is decent for college level. 40-yard pass he had. I can't remember who it was to, but we'll see here in a second. Clark Douglas, 28 carries, 189 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a 41-yard run in the game, which was a big, I think that ended up going for a touchdown. Clay Jackson, 9 carries, 36 yards. Thomas Wilson, 4 carries, 36 yards. Receiving, that goes to pretty much, we spread the ball around pretty well, I feel like. I mean, granted, we don't pass the ball a whole lot, but Ben McAfee's open all the time. He had a good reception. Matt Strong had that 40-yard bomb. So we had a pretty good day there. No sacks, which is something that I usually never have anyway because I have a good scrambling quarterback. Defensively, a couple stars that I want to point out here are Schroeder, Franklin, usually guys who just get sacks and interceptions. But we didn't get an interception that game, so it's just going to the guys who had sacks, which is Schroeder and Franklin. So hats off to those guys for sticking to it. Kicking game, we went 1 for 1 from 43 yards out, and we made all of our extra points. 1 from 49, or attempted from 49 yards, and he just made it too. It was kind of a long, or it was, you know, actually no way, it was inside 40 to 49. It was a 43-yard field goal. So yeah, he put a lot of leg into that one. I didn't think he'd make it, but he made it. Doesn't have the strongest leg, so no data for punting. Holloway had 4 returns and 1 return on punts. So we're going to go to TCU stats here real quick. Brooks went 9 of 12, 89 yards. They're not really, they didn't have a lot of time with the ball, so they didn't really get the chance to display their offense like they usually should. So still a pretty good completion percentage. Didn't turn the ball over. Didn't have a bad game necessarily, but didn't have the opportunity to show what he could do. But he did run the ball a lot. He passed the ball. He ran the ball more than he passed. So he had 14 rushing attempts and only 12 pass attempts. So it tells you how much he has with his legs. Didn't have the opportunity much to throw it. How many times did it say he got sacked? I'm going to look over here. He got sacked 3 times. Only had a long completion of 27 yards. Which is okay in your normal game. But other than that, not really much was going on here. Receiving core was kind of dead that day. They only threw it to 5 different receivers. Just not that many guys open, I suppose. 2 sacks given up by King and 1 by Patterson. So not a good day out for the offensive line either. Cooper with that interception, big guy there. I think that was a pretty pivotal interception too. It could have made the game a whole lot different. But it ended up not costing us, so that's a good thing. Nichols went 3 for 4 on field goals. He made one from 55. I think that one was to end the half. I'm not sure. But he made a field goal attempts count. 3 for 4 is pretty good, at least in one day. I mean, if you kick 4 field goals in a day, you're bound to miss one. But I mean, don't make it a trend to only make 75% of your field goals throughout a season. Throughout one game, it's kind of acceptable. Davidson had 1 return for 44 yards. Couple kick returns here, and no punt returns here. So that is pretty much going to wrap up this little thing right here with our what do you want to call it? A recap. So obviously we got we're one step closer to being a Big 12 champion. We're still undefeated in the Big 12, and I think next week is, oh god, I think it's, who is it next time? Who are you gonna see next time? I think it's Texas. But until then, my name is Sim with Vengeance. You guys have been amazing as always. Peace out.